Hey guys, and welcome to this edition of Scruff's Garage. So recently I've had a big decision to make. I've got a brand new Jeep Gladiator and I'm putting a lift kit on it, so I need to pick out a new set of tires. But because it's a brand new vehicle and it's my daily driver, while I do want something that's more aggressive, I don't want to ruin the ride quality with too much road noise or vibrations. And I want something that's going to last a reasonable amount of time because I am going to put some miles on the vehicle. So after a bunch of research, I decided on the Nitto Ridge Grappler. It's kind of their hybrid tire, so it's a little more aggressive than an all-terrain, but not quite as aggressive as a true mud terrain. But of course, one of the big questions is always, well, how loud is it? How much road noise am I going to have to deal with? Because I want to be able to use the Bluetooth connection and the hands-free to be able to talk on the phone and listen to the radio. So I didn't want a tire that's just humming away in the background and just kind of ruin the driving quality of the vehicle. And all the research I did on the Ridge Grapplers, it's all very subjective. It's just one person's opinion of, well, hey, I put them on my truck and I thought they were okay, or I thought they were too loud, or they were too quiet, or whatever. But there's no real objective comparison point. So my vain attempt at doing some objective comparison, so I'm going to run the stock tires on the stock suspension at both 45 miles per hour and 75 miles per hour. And I've got a decibel meter on my phone, and I'll show you how loud the stock tires are at those two speeds. And then without changing anything else, I'm going to put the 35s on the vehicle because they will fit stock. And I'll run the 35-inch Nitto Ridge Grapplers at the same speeds, 45 and 75. And then you can see, well, how many decibels louder were the Ridge Grapplers over the stock highway tires. So I think it would at least give you a relative comparison point to say, well, they're a little bit louder or they're not quite as loud as I thought they would be. And hopefully that helps you make a decision. I know it certainly has helped me. So let's get on with the test. All right, we'll get up to 45 miles per hour, stock tire, stock suspension. See if we can hold it there. 45. So between 60 and maybe 63 for road noise with the stock tire, stock suspension. So let's keep going. Okay, I'm on the highway running 75 miles per hour. Got the cruise set. Windows up. This is with the stock tires. Let's see if you can see. So decibels runs between 68 and 70 with the hard top, windows up, with the stock tires. So it'll be interesting to see how much that increases once we have the Nitto Ridge Grapplers on here. So we'll find out. 35-inch Nitto Ridge Grappler, stock suspension. Got the cruise set on 45. So decibels runs between 62, maybe 65 at the highest. So that's a couple decibels louder, but by and large you don't hear the difference. I've got the windows up, radio obviously turned off, the air conditioning turned off, and even then you'd be hard pressed to say that you could hear the tires. You hear maybe just the slightest hum, but it's really not perceivable hardly at all. Okay, we're out on the highway running 75 with the 35-inch Ridge Grapplers. So I'll get quiet and we'll take a look at the decibel reading. So typically between 68 and 70 decibels. You really don't hear too much of a tire hum. You can hear it just ever so faintly in the background, but turn the radio on and I don't think you hear it at all. So not too bad. So I've been driving on the Ridge Grapplers for a couple of weeks now, both before I had the lift on to the suspension with stock, and now I've got the lift on, and obviously with the tires. And I was trying to think about how do you describe the road noise. And so I was thinking about it in terms of like on a scale of 1 to 10. So the stock tires, especially on the Overland, are just highway tires. It's an HT kind of tread. So I'd probably give that like a 2, right? Near silent. And the wind noise of the Jeep is probably a 4. So anything less than a 4 you're not going to hear, because you're going to hear the wind noise. So in my opinion, the Ridge Grapplers are probably like a 4.5 to a 5. You're just starting to hear the tires over the wind noise. It's very subtle. You hear it in the background. You turn the radio on. If the radio can drown out the wind noise, it will drown out the tires as well. Now, obviously, the tires are brand new. As they wear, like any tire, they will get louder. And if you don't keep up with tire rotation, or your tire pressures are off, or your alignment's wrong, and you get a weird wear pattern going on the tires, then obviously they're going to be even louder than a normal tire just as it wears. But as it sits right now, I'd give them like a 4.5 to a 5. You're just starting to hear them over the wind noise. So I hope that gives you some sort of perspective on the Ridge Grapplers and the amount of noise that you might get out of them. I do have a slight tire vibration, at least I'm assuming it's a tire vibration. I've had the tires and wheels rebalanced 3 times, and they did a road force balance on it this last time, but none of the data suggested that it was a bad tire or a bad wheel. So it may just be a bad product of a more aggressive tread. They balanced out to a 0. But there is just a slight vibration at highway speeds. Low speeds, no big deal. But once you get 70 miles an hour and to 80, right? I don't run it above 80. I don't really run it above 75 very often, but so anything between 70 and 80, to me, I noticed a little bit of a vibration that I'm assuming is coming from the tires. It started even before I did the lift, so the only change was the tires. So just something to keep in mind. If you're hypersensitive about something like that, then maybe a less aggressive tread would be the way to go. So anyway, I hope that helps. If you have any questions, by all means, hit me up in the comments. I'll answer anything that I can. And as always, thanks for tuning in to this edition of Scruff's Garage.